I would like to do a different type of meditation. We're going to do a progressive muscle relaxation meditation, which means I'm going to ask you to tighten certain muscle groups and let them go. But if anything hurts, if anything doesn't feel right, I request that you stop, relax, and you breathe. So first, I'd like you to get comfortable in your chair. Close your eyes if you feel inclined to do so. Let's start with the breath. Breathe in and out. Let's take another deep breath in and out. Let's start at your feet. I'd like you to curl your toes downward, tensing the muscle in your feet. Hold. And release. Feel the tension melt away. Next, I'd like you to tighten your calves, pointing your toes upward. Let's hold. And release. Breathing as we move our muscles in and out. Next, I'd like you to pull your belly in and tighten your abdominal muscles. Let's hold it there. And release. Let your stomach soften. I'd like you to make fists with your hands, squeezing very tightly. And release. Let your fingers relax. Feel all that tension out of your body. Breathing in and out. Next, I'd like you to bend your elbows and touch your biceps. Let's hold there. Keep holding and release. Release all the tension from your arms. Let them grow heavy as you breathe in and out. Next, I'd like you to shrug your shoulders. Bring them up towards your ears and hold. And release. Let them drop and relax and feel the tension beneath your shoulders. Next, I'd like you to gently tilt your head back, tensing the muscles in the back of your neck. Let's hold. And release. Be careful not to strain your neck, but know that this tension is now gone from your body and ready to leave. The next part is my favorite. Tighten up your face, scrunch it up like you've eaten a really sour piece of fruit. And let it go. Breathe easy and know there is no tension here, only relaxation. I'd like you to take this moment to scan your body. Are there any areas of lingering tension? And if there are, imagine them softening as you breathe in and out. relaxed, calm, and at ease. And when you're ready, I'd like you to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Open your eyes. If you'd like to stretch, please do so. Return to this time and space, feeling refreshed and peaceful.
Thank you, Samantha. Oh, I know what you did. Please join me in our song. Have thoughts and prayers. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always waiting. Our thoughts are prayers, take charge of what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a word. Thank you. And Samantha, it's your turn to speak. Samantha McClary.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think we got a little more in us. Can I get another good morning?
Good morning.
There we are. Okay. How are y'all doing today?
Good.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Good. Fantastic.
Good.
It's been warm outside. I don't know about y'all, but I am not for this heat. I'm
No.
sure all of you are. But that's okay, because it helps the flowers grow. It helps the grass be green. And it helps provide us with what we need. Thank you for being here today. You could have been anywhere, and yet you chose to be here. And that's a miracle in and of itself. I'd like to give credit where credit is due. So this title isn't one of my making. I heard it first from Reverend Charles Thomas. He gave a talk in Ann Arbor, I want to say a year ago now, and this was his title. And I was like, ooh, that resonates with me, so I'm borrowing that and giving him credit. Yes. So the last couple of days, we've been celebrating our independence from Britain. And that's been joyful. But are there things that we don't like in our society today?
Yes.
Things that have come up, right? First, we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about. So we're going to cover the fact that there's no hiding from these challenges. And then we're going to read the poem, Then They Came. We're going to talk about Joseph and what he did after he was sold into slavery. My beautiful neighbor, Miss Cheese. There's a Fillmore quote and two more quotes from amazing ladies that I'd like to talk about today. So, some things that we're facing today, right? This perceived lack of money, family dramas, and some of us are experiencing job loss, whether that's to AI, to downgrading, to whatever that is, right?
Right.
These are things we can't run from. We need to keep moving forward. Do you remember the good old days when we were worried about the increasing prices of gasoline? That was basically the worries we had.
It's the good old days, huh?
I say the good old days. We still are worried about it, but I was reading Reverend I don't know if he was a Reverend. Charles Fillmore? Was he a Reverend? I don't think he made it here before, so no. But I was reading his sermon, his 4th of July sermon, and he goes, yeah, those increasing gas prices.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. Even back then, they were still a challenge. But these things, they tend to keep us in place. They keep us where we are. They keep us in these feelings of being stuck. These things that are happening to us, rather than things that we are manifesting and creating. These are our bondage. These are what keeps us there. However, I don't know how many of you are familiar with the story of Plato's cave,
Oh, never heard of it.
where these are the people who are presumed prisoners where they're shackled, and they are seeing the shadows on the wall. And then up here, there's a balcony for performers to put on a show. So what you are seeing as this person here is the shadows of what someone decides to show you.
Huh.
They're usually distorted images, not fully recognized stories. But I liked this picture because of how easy it is to leave the cave. A lot of depictions of this cave shows you climbing up the mountain to get out, when really all you have to do is turn around and leave. All you have to do is know that those shackles are not on you. They're not yours to hold. And you can leave anytime you choose. You just have to take that first step. That kind of leads me to the poem, First They Came, by Pastor Martin Niemöller. I'm sorry if I butcher names. So first they came for the communists.
Oh, yeah.
And I did not speak out because I was not communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. And then they came for the unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a unionist.
Yeah.
And then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not Jewish. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me.
Right. True.
Today, in this time period when we feel we have no power, we still have our voice. We still have that ability to make that first step forward and say, hey, I don't like that. If you feel you can't move, you can still use your voice for the voiceless. You can be a part of a community that's there for one another, that speaks out for those who cannot. Kind of like what Joseph's brother did to him. They sold him into slavery. I didn't realize, I went back and I did some rereading. He was enslaved from the time he was 17 until he was 30. That's a long time. But he did it. He made it through. And at the end, he was given a vision of years of famine and years of plenty. And he provided for the people. And he said to his brothers, but as for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, in order to bring it about as it is this day, to save many people alive. Sometimes we are stuck in moments of pride, resentment, and anger. And those lead us to look outside of ourselves for something to change. Well, I can't do anything until this other thing happens, right? But that's not it.
Right.
Change comes from within. He didn't toil away and say, oh, this is my life forever. He got out. He decided to make a change to be good for the people. So when you're faced with these challenges, it's not your job to bury your head in the sand. It's not our job to say, well, it's happening to me, what can I do? Rather, to rise up and meet it. I personally believe that every challenge that we are faced is a perfectly curated example of what we could be had we taken our first step. This is my beautiful neighbor, Miss Janice. Well, Miss Janice recently passed due to cancer, but I wanted to tell you our story. So, we moved into our house back in August, really new to the neighborhood, first-time homeowners. We were really excited.
Yes.
And we met our neighbor, Miss Janice. She came out and she said, "I have cancer." We're like, whoa, okay. Anything you need, we're here for you, right? Because we're neighbors. But then the next thing she said was, welcome. Welcome to this community. I had other neighbors come up to us and say, well, you're the new old neighbors' names, right? Because they left a place in the community. Miss Janice never did that. She had seen us for who we were. She welcomed us, despite the fact that she didn't like that we didn't treat our grass for dandelions.
Boy.
She thought it was important to have a very beautifully manicured lawn that was fed, that was growing. I do not believe in a perfectly manicured lawn, other than keeping it low enough so that we don't hurt anyone, right? Safety is the number one priority. But she's an example of someone who lived life to the fullest. She has family. She's got her children, her grandchildren, her great-grandchildren. Not only did she live a life of welcome and prosperity, she left it for the next generation too. When the siding came off of our house back in March, her son came by with meadow shears and helped us put down the side that had fallen so that the rest of it didn't fall. She took her steps. She lived her life. I'm sure she had her challenges, as we all do, because we're all human. But Miss Janice is an example of that. And I wanted to honor her today as we are talking about this release from bondage. Charles Fillmore, on his 4th of July sermon, talked about many things. But I want to say my biggest aha moment came from his quote that says, freedom is not an escape. It is a choice to be strong, to understand, to find a transcendent way. So you're choosing to overcome these challenges. It's not about running away from your circumstance. Well, if I just go do this, if I just do this, you have to sometimes take a breath and connect with Spirit. And know that these challenges are there for your growth. They may hurt, just as a broken bone hurts and heals. And then the one that really got me, the quote from Lori Buchanan, is whatever you're not changing, you're choosing. If you don't like how much you weigh, if you don't like how much you're making, if you don't like your family drama, then just drop your family. No, I'm just kidding. You can't drop your family. But you can make peace with their actions. And you can set firm boundaries to say, I will not tolerate misuse or abuse. But you can be there and know. So Thomas elaborated a little bit and said that if I stay stuck, it's because I'm allowing it. I'm choosing it. If there's something in your life you don't like and you're not doing anything about it, you're choosing it. Every day you don't act, you're silently saying, yes, I'll take more of this. Ooh, that gave me shivers.
Yeah.
To realize how much power we have, how much we can stand up. Doesn't have to be literal. It could be saying a word, it could be being there for a friend, but it's up to us. And to further elaborate this point, I found a quote from Jill Schumann. She's got a few different things on how to rid yourself of bondage and be free of mind. But this is her last point. It says, freedom is built. It's not given. You can't wait for it to happen. No one is going to give it to you. You will only find bondage outside of yourself. If you take actions that give you joy, as long as it doesn't hurt yourself or others, if you find actions that give you true joy, those are your freedom. Those are a life well lived. And it wouldn't be a talk for me if I didn't try to push you or challenge you or try to stretch you just a little bit. So I'm going to ask that you find something that gives you immense joy and give it back to your community. Whether that's knitting, crocheting, doing yoga, participating in activities that are already happening, because those participations matter. I know my in-laws go to almost all of the senior center activities, and their participation matters. They still get funding because they show up. They have community people there. And if there's something that you don't like about the laws that are being made, please call your local representatives.
Yes.
Talk to them. Find out what they're doing, what they're not doing, what you think could be done better. And if all that seems like a little bit too much, please meditate. Find a way to move your body that feels good. Or do daily affirmations. Because every little bit counts. Everything matters. And let's say together, I can have immense joy. One more time.
I can have immense joy.
Okay. I can make a difference in my community. I am the light and love of God. There is enough prosperity for all. Sorry, I didn't change that. But if you take nothing else from my talk today, I'd like you to take that it only takes one small step to release you from that bondage. One small thought, one action. Thank you.
Thank you.